Today I'd like to show you a simple video for practicing what's called constructive rest in Alexander technique. It's a great thing to do if you're tired or you're trying to wake up and you want to take a rest, but you don't want to just collapse your spine on the couch or slump on your chair. You actually want to get a lengthening effect in your back. It's nice to start off by just taking a walk around and seeing how you feel so that you can compare the results after you lie down with before. So go ahead and take a walk around and notice anything about your body and anything about how you sort of relate to your environment. The next thing to do is to grab a couple of books like this, and you can decide on the height as you please. I'll show you how that works when we get to the floor. You go ahead and you lie down on the floor. You can use a yoga mat if you want, or a rug, and put the books about where your head is going to be. You can use your hands to let yourself roll down so that your back kind of opens up on the floor, and then let your head rest on the books so that you don't feel like your neck is shortening in the back, but you also don't feel like your chin is jamming in the front. You can put your hands like this or like this, whichever you prefer. And adjust your feet and your hips and your arms until you feel comfortable. I like to start out by reminding myself to sense the space around me, just to notice all the shapes around you, the three-dimensional space, and even the whole floor underneath your back. Next, I like to roll my head just slightly and think of my neck relaxing, almost like I'm letting go of my whole body, in a sense getting out of my body, as if your head is a ball and there's nothing else in the room. Next, while continuing to think of your neck very free and not tightening your neck, think of the whole head from the top joint up, moving away from the pelvis. You can just think that very spatially in the same way that you thought of the space in the room. And if you do this right, with a little practice, you can get a lengthening effect up the spine that allows your back to drop. And the key is to think this lengthening with no tightening in the neck, at least not the superficial neck muscles. Now I can lie here and just do those things, sensing the space, freeing the neck, and think of lengthening the back and get a nice effect. But I'm going to add a couple more things. One is you might want to move the arms. You can take an arm and lift it up and let the elbow drop on the floor so that the arm forms another vertical in this space. And think of the shoulder dropping and widening. Now you're going to pick up the arm as if it's being taken by a string from the tips of the finger as the back continues to drop and lengthen so that nothing gets disturbed along the length of the spine. And the shoulder continues to drop back to the floor. So you have your arm fully lengthened but resting on the shoulder blade, and the spine fully lengthened resting on the floor. And really, Gravity combined with just thoughts of expansion are doing all the work here. Next, I'll think of that string, taking my arm higher just to lift the shoulder off of the floor as the back continues to lengthen and drop. And then I might move the arm around just to find all the joints. Move the hand and the wrist. Let the shoulder fall back down and the arm fold down to the floor. Now here you might notice a difference between the two shoulders. This one feels more open. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. First open the arm and let the shoulder widen. Then take the arm up like it's being taken by a string while you let the shoulder drop. And then take the arm further as the whole spine drops. And the arm lengthens out through the fingertips. And then I like to just move it around a little bit. You can return to the thoughts of space and the head free, the neck free, and the head going that way, so that you get a lengthening along the whole spine, almost like the head is taking the spine into length. Next, I'm going to move the feet closer together so that I can practice that lengthening thought as I lift a knee to the ceiling. And the leg can unfold without disturbing the trunk at all. And then I'll move it around a little bit. And bring it back down. Same thing with the other leg. I'm going to start with that thought, spatial thought of the head free on top of the spine, going that way to take the spine into length with no tightening of the neck. The knee goes to the ceiling to let the spine drop. And I'll take the leg and move it around a little bit. In the end, the movement is not as important as the thinking, but I like to add movement in, especially for beginning students. Lastly, I'd like to think a little bit about breathing and the idea that the whole trunk, the rib cage up top, the shoulders, the rib cage here, the belly, and even along the back can expand spontaneously when you inhale. And again, just a thought of that expansion is enough for the inhale to happen. You don't have to force the breath in. So I'm just picturing the whole trunk expanding. And then watching it happen on the inhale. Okay, I'm going to come to standing now, and I'm going to do it rather than jerking my head in like I might do, shortening the trunk. You can either come with a full spine up and unroll the spine, or even easier, roll to the side first, come up, and then come to a crawl position. Unfold. Keep thinking the head leading, the spine up. Standing. Once again, have a sense of the space around you. Take a walk around. See how you feel. Compare it to how you started. And you're all set.